Today's video is going to be a special one. I've been covering Destiny for a long time, finding things, talking about the ins and outs of weapons, gear, mechanics. I've never done a tier list. This is going to be a Hunter exotic tier list for PvP, and if you guys like it, if it goes well, I can try to get done Titan and Warlock before the season ends, so please let me know. And with this list, I consider S tier sacred. There won't be like 10, 15 things in it. There's going to be less than 5. And with how I'm going to do this list, I'm going to give the reason why. Maybe it's going to have some gameplay, or I'm going to tell you the truth about it, or at least the truth in my mind at least. There are a couple of exotics ranked really high on my list that you just never see. I'm going to walk through why they're that high on my list, why they're so good, and walk through how to use some of them. But before I get into my list, I do want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark encrypts your data, it keeps it safe. It's an extra layer of security for your photos, your videos, all your personal stuff so no one can see it. It hides your true IP address. It's extremely easy to use. It sets you up with the closest server, and the server closest to me is actually a fiber connection. The speeds are great. Surfshark VPN is the only privacy product that allows unlimited simultaneous devices, so most of them limit you, but not Surfshark. You can have it on your phone, your desktop, as many devices as you want. And with so many people working from home, you can prevent ISP throttling from your provider and actually get faster speeds than what they're capping you at. It works as an app, a browser extension. It allows you to place your laptop or phone anywhere in the world. With something like Disney Plus, it isn't available in some countries, so you just change your location and it's going to open right up. For Netflix, there are about 15 different Netflix libraries out there to go out and explore. And with changing your location, you can see what's playing around the world. What's great for us gamers is you can game in full privacy and security. That includes big ones like hiding your IP in Discord and other chats. Just not have to worry about it. Protection is key, so use my code CoolGuy to get 83% off plus 3 extra months free. There's a link down below right at the top of the description, and if for whatever reason you're unhappy, they do back a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk to try it out for yourself. I love this VPN, and I really hope you guys get behind Surfshark as they've gotten behind me. It's a really good deal that they have for us. Some of these I'm going to talk about more than others, but let's start with an easy one, Dragon Shadow, S tier. Dodging reloads all weapons and increases both movement and weapon handling for a brief time. It should see a ton more play after the quick draw nerf. It takes any weapon, such as like an early Destiny 2 Omni sniper from the Future War Cult here, and it gives it that snapshot quick draw feel. The heart of Dragon Shadow is that it makes all of your weapons better, period. Like my favorite weapon, Cloud Strike, you can now have a faster aim down sights. Or something like this, I have a slide shot 68 range Astral Horizon Adept, big range, and I can whip it around because of Dragon Shadow. The trade-off is that you use your dodge offensively before the fight. You're not going to have it when you're out of position or in close quarters to evade. However, dodging before a fight has great benefits, and we should see it a lot more for this upcoming season. Celestial Nighthawk, F. If this were a PvE list, it'd be S tier at the very top. But for PvP, it's in the lowest. It has combustion, yes, you can get collaterals. It gives you some super back, yes. You can have fun with it, yes, but everything else, no. There are multiple better options. Assassin's Cowl, D. I had it in F, and it could go into C probably. But ever since Stasis came out, it's been harder and harder to get melees off. Seriously, good luck. A charged Void Arc or Solar Final Blow grants invisibility and restores a portion of health and shields. It's fantastic when it works. That charged melee could be the heavy knife on Bottom Tree Gunslinger. It works really well with Top Tree Arcstrider that you're seeing in the gameplay, but again, between slow, freezing, shatter, you use it with caution. You aren't tumbling around nowadays. Every single game, when I start getting on streaks with it, one of those things will happen. I will get slowed, stop me dead in my tracks, I will get frozen. It's having a really hard time shining right now. Now, you can put together builds, but at this time, you're not going to see it, and you're probably not going to see it in the foreseeable future. The benefit isn't worth the risk. Shinobis Vow, A tier. Here's why, and I'm going to show you exactly how you should be running it. Improved Skip Grenade. You gain an additional Skip Grenade. The Skip Grenade returns grenade energy when it damages enemies. You need to make your Shinobis Vow void. If you can swing it, you want 2 bolstering detonation mods. You might want a pulse or a hand cannon loader, I get that. But if you can do 2, do 2. This grants ability energy when you cause damage with your grenade. This pairs with your class item. You need to make it solar. You want double bomber on that. Reduces your grenade energy when using your class ability. So you get a better skip grenade, you get 2 of them. When you damage enemies with your skip grenade, they give grenade energy back and class ability energy. So in the in-between, when you dodge, you get grenade energy. In Trials of Osiris, it's won a ton of matches. In Core Crucible, it's crazy good. And even in Trials or any game mode, if you throw that skip, it could make a Hunter waste a dodge, a backrest. It could make a Dawnblade waste an Icarus dash, a Behemoth, the lunge melee. That's the worst case, but most of the time it's best case scenario. The skips are landing and they're making them run. That opens up a push. It's stopping recovery. It's doing a whole bunch of things. They're near S tier. And with this mod combination, you squeeze everything that Shinobis Vow has to give. They're criminally underrated and they're top tier because of this. I'm going to go ahead and lump together a set of armor that all do the same thing. Gwyzin Vest, the Shards of Galanor, Raiden Flux, the Orpheus Rigs. They aren't necessarily F tier, because they still have use. If you're a Spectral main, a Gwyzin switch is a good thing to do when it's super time. Shards of Galanor for Middle Tree Gunslinger, the Flux for an extended Arc Strider super, the Rigs. On bottom tree you get extra shots, and get back super energy on top tree with kills. All of them are switches from the main class that you're playing, so not F, but definitely not better than a D tier. And here's a surprise, Bombardiers, B tier. Here is why, and here's also a truth. And of course when I say truth, that's in my mind, and that's from analyzing the game. The majority of engagements in the current iteration of Destiny happen within 10 meters. When you play, players will do literally everything in their power to get in that range. A lot of times players will spawn, they'll bring out the shotgun, they'll run around with it with movement, with abilities, with the goal being that quick and easy one shot. That's the truth. Look where shotguns rank in overall lethality on Trials weekends. We spawn 200 meters apart, but somehow we all end up within 10. That's where the Bombardiers come in. Because of how Destiny is played, the Bombardiers have a very special ability, even more now with Stasis. The center of the bomb deals 120 damage. As the enemy's further away from the bomb, it does less. But with the Durance Fragment and Winter Shroud aspect with Stasis, it's a new ballgame. When you throw that dodge, you slow the area, and the area is actually the same exact distance the Bombardier's bomb goes off. So when a player rushes you, and they will, you're going to stop them dead in their tracks, and they have no choice but to eat the bomb. You can use these offensively or defensively. You can get in there, dodge next to them, slow the area. They're going to eat the bomb, and then you go from there. And when you know that they're rushing in, you just dodge backwards or away. They will stop because of slow, they eat the bomb, and they're there for an easy cleanup. You can also throw on Glacier Grenades and the Fissure's Fragment. The bomb can and will break crystals and deal fissures damage, as well as the bomb damage. I recommend that you try it. You don't see these. The worst thing that can happen is you don't really like them, but I'm telling you, these have a lot of worth. Slowing someone for 5 to 6 seconds while them taking the bomb damage, it happens all the time. It works on all trees, but the aspects and fragments of Stasis elevate it greatly. It's ranked very high on my list. Ophidius Spaith, F tier. Gain a second throwing knife. Look, bottom tree gunslinger, Athrus's is a better pick. You can get knives back by dodging with Gambler's Dodge, and you get the knife back by itself in the first place with a precision hit. The top tree knives is going to be better paired with the spines, and so on. There are much better options than gaining a second knife. Liar's Handshake, D tier. Similar to Assassin's Cowl, Cross Cannon has always been a good reactionary exotic. They punch you, you punch them right back, you get the one shot. Or you can punch someone first and then one shot a second enemy. You can also do cool things with Middle Tree Arc Strider, and I went over that in a previous video. Overall though, it's near the bottom, and other exotics can fill that spot. It'd be different if you got that cross counter timer if you were in red health or something like that. The Crucible is too risky to go out and start meleeing players. The Mask of Backrest, S tier. Here's the truth. The Mask of Backrest is the biggest get out of jail free card in Destiny 2. Bad positioning, backrest shift. You want to smother someone, backrest shift. You get caught off guard, you throw the backrest shift. Not only that, as you whip past someone, you slow them. It's very, very strong. Combined with the full kit of Stasis, backrest isn't going to go anywhere unless they change it. Even though it does have a delay on its recharge rate, that's perfectly fine. It makes more plays for you than it doesn't. And the beautiful part is a backrest shift is never wasted. If you shift and die, that dodge penalty's gone. When you spawn right back in, that timer's not going to be there, you get right back to getting your dodge back. It's S tier. Graviton Forfeit, C tier. A faster melee charge while invisible, increased duration of invisibility effects. Now this pairs best with top tree, but it can be used on middle and bottom. This is a playstyle, there's nothing wrong with it, but then again, it's nothing spectacular. Young Ahamkara Spine, B tier. Bigger blast radius and a longer duration for the Trip Mine ability damage grants Trip Mine energy. Pair this with either Solar Impact Induction, causing damage with your melee attack reduces your grenade, or make them arc for momentum transfer. Causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. Okay, these are great. They have top tier lockdown of an area in Trials of Osiris. You can place a Trip Mine on a downed enemy ghost. They take a ton of damage to take out, so for them to get that res, they have to take out that Trip Mine first. And that Trip Mine plays off of your other abilities. Get some ability damage, you get that Trip Mine back faster. It's a great exotic, and it's a very annoying one for your enemy. That thing has a ton of health. The Ion Swift, F tier. It used to be somewhat usable, now it's a very powerful S tier PvE exotic, not for PvP. Khepri Sting, C tier. I love these. I was a Khepri's main for about a year. I still love them. You throw a smoke at your feet, you gain true sight for a few seconds. Very powerful in Trials of Osiris. You can smoke to give enemy position to your team. It transfers right into a crouching headshot with Spectral Blades, so you can keep that true sight going. You can use it on any Night Stalker tree, but Spectral Blades is my favorite. And real quick, I'm going to say it again at the end. This divide between B and C tier, I view this as below that line in C tier, it's a playstyle. It could be just a really good neutral exotic, or something like Graviton Forfeit. It's good, but for a very specific thing. It's the same thing with Khepri's. Is that thing enough to make it play top tier into that B, A, possibly S? For some of you, it could be. Now, above that line into B tier, that's where things start getting a little bit more interesting into higher play. These have a ton of use, they have specific functions that win engagements, or they're just a very good true neutral exotic. And speaking of a good neutral exotic, I have both Foe Tracer and Knucklehead Radar as B tier, just above C. Now, Knucklehead gives you your radar while aiming and enhances your radar resolution while crouched. Foe Tracer marks targets and deals more damage to low health marked targets. There's no need for gameplay, it's very straightforward. Both of these are good. Any player can put them on any class and constantly have the benefits of them. I'm also going to group a couple of C tier exotics on my list, Mechanier's Trick Sleeves and the Lucky Pants. Again, this is where I have that it's a playstyle that can excel. The deal with Trick Sleeves is when you get in critical health, when you ready your sidearm or switch to that sidearm, it has increased damage. That damage stacks with perks like Kill Clip. Now the damage itself is pretty much Kill Clip and you can double stack it. Anytime you run Trick Sleeves, you need to make a charge with Light build, Taking Charge, Powerful Friends, Radiant Light, and then Surprise Attack. This is the best exotic for sidearms, and there's a reason that whenever you see someone review a sidearm or read an article, the Trick Sleeves are always mentioned, and they're mostly a highlight of it in the background. You get a fast reload, fast ready speed, it's a good one. And if sidearms were as dominant as shotguns, there's no doubt in my mind this would be in that A tier, almost S tier territory, because of what they do to the weapon is very good. The Lucky Pants, same thing, it's a playstyle. And these actually might go a little bit higher once we see how quick draw on hand cannons works out. I've always liked Lucky Pants. It's excellent with Last Word, it's excellent with any hand cannon. Moving to the Sealed Ahamkara Grasps, F tier. It's another one that can go in that upper B, A, or even S tier in a PvE list. Not so much for the Crucible. Reloading your equipped weapon because of melee damage can only take you so far. Oathkeepers, D tier. Borderline C tier, because if you talk to a seasoned bow player, they're going to tell you that the perfect draw comes with practice, and it isn't that bad to do. The Oathkeepers are really good for Monarch because you can guarantee poison damage. It's good on other bows as well. Ultimately, you can move past this and use better overall exotics to use with your bow. 6 Coyote, A tier. Simply gives you a second dodge. That second dodge means double the chances to get your melee back with Gambler's Dodge, double the chances for reloads for Marksman. It means double slow dodges on Stasis. And since you have 2 melee charges with Stasis, you're getting those back faster with your Gambler's Dodge. It means it's another route to get away or be offensive, to confuse your opponent. Every time I throw these on, I can tell you that my enemy never, ever expects a second dodge. You just don't see this exotic. All it does is make plays. It gets you in and out of situations freely. Lucky Raspberry, C tier. I almost put it into D, but decided C. The deal with Lucky Raspberry, first, you need to put on Fastball when you run these. It gives you improved Arc Bolt chaining, a full chain always refills it, and there's also a chance that a hit from the Arc Bolt can give it right back. This is a luck exotic. It's something that you can't depend on, but when it works very well. I've been on streaks of just tagging one person and getting it back over and over. It can be nuts. I have on Demolitionist for both weapons usually. 100 discipline when I play it. And I also do double Demolitionist with Shinobis Vow depending on the map. Now it chains a long way, and when you do get that instant refresh, it's deadly. However, when you don't, you're out of a grenade, and that's the whole reason that you're using it. So it's very important you run max discipline and fit in a Demolitionist weapon. Raijus Harness, B tier. Raiju is very special. Light subclasses get their super faster than Stasis. A lot of players run Stasis, so it allows you to have a longer block time per middle tree, and with that longer block time, it outlasts a lot of roaming supers, but the best part is you can cancel that super early. This is a go-to for Trials of Osiris if you're an Arc Strider because you can use whatever you want up until your super. You switch to Raiju, and most of the time in Trials, you need to get a kill or two. You're gonna get that kill, it's gonna be pretty quick. You immediately deactivate and have over a third of your super back, and you can go do it again. It's top tier, and it has a huge purpose. Wormhusk Crown, S tier. To this day, it's widely used and for good reason. There are a lot of things that you could just pull out of thin air. Reload speed on gauntlets, stability, handling with dexterity, target acquisition, whatever it is, there's a ton more. Health is something that you cannot pull out of thin air. After dodging, you get a small health bump and shield bump. This can save you. You can have a peek battle across the map, dodge out, come right back in with health back. And that dodge ability at tier 10 is every 11 seconds, so it's pretty much going to be ready for every engagement that you get into. Atheris's Embrace, B tier. There's a link to my review at the top of the screen, and I show exactly how to use these. It's paired best with a pulse, so Messenger, Vigilance Wing come to mind. Seriously, when you get them down, the kills are free. It's ridiculous. I've had so many picks and trials, it's just flat out crazy kills. They're very good. Omni Oculus, C tier. These were S tier. Seriously, before the nerf, you could use it on any Night Stalker tree. The neutral game came alive. You can pair that with Rat King. Now, they're still good, but for PvP, it ties you down to the worst super in the game, Bottom Tree Tether. And that's why I can't get on board putting it any higher than this. That's why I can't do it. I wish that I could. Now, you could still have great games, but it's nowhere near where it was. A couple of legs, Frosties and Gemini Jesters, I have them both in B tier. Frosties give increased grenade, melee, dodge regeneration while sprinting, and dodging increases your sprint speed. And let's be honest here with one another, Destiny is currently an ability-based game. So things like stasis or your smoke bomb, whatever it is, all you have to do is sprint and get those abilities faster. That's not a bad thing. The Gemini Jesters take away enemy radar. It was very good on Cauldron. Seasoned players with good game sense can get past them, but they do mess up the majority of players. And finally, Stompies, the standard, S tier. And here are my thoughts on Stompies. Increased sprint speed, slide distance, improves your high jump, strafe jump, triple jump. The players that use these are using them to win. And real talk, they're the same player. It's cookie cutter, dime a dozen. When you play one, you've played them all. It's the same playstyle, they all do the same things, they jump in the same doorways. And the exotic is so good that you know exactly what they're doing and you know exactly what's coming, and they still get you. You're faster than everyone, you run away from all roaming supers, you jump higher. Aside from the behemoth, you slide further. When you put these on, you know exactly what you're trying to do. I don't usually run them. Seriously, maybe a couple sessions every couple of months, and every time I do put them on, I ask myself why I even take them off. And Stompy mains, don't lie to yourselves or others. It's a breeze, it is easy street. Because the deal with Stompies is unlike most exotics in the game. You control every gunfight that you get into. You have the bait on every doorway. You have the ability to come right out of a dodge and super high strafe jump in an opposite direction with Icarus. You control every engagement that you get into. People have to play off of you. And you have the jump and the slide to thank for that. It's above and beyond. And it can be used on any skill tree. The majority of what people call sweaty players run these for a reason, and that reason is obvious. I hope that you enjoyed my tier list, and again, please let me know if you'd like me to do Warlock and Titan. And a quick recap, I'm gonna go top to bottom. These four right here, like if you play Trials or Comp, you will see one of these exotics every single game that you play if you see a hunter. 3 of them are neutral, 1 is backrest, and that by itself is very, very good. As we go down the list, Shinobis Vow is criminally underrated, especially with bolstering detonation and bomber. 6 Coyote makes a ton of plays. The B and C divide. In C tier, it's a very specific playstyle, does a very specific thing really, really well. It can be elevated. You can have great games with them. But above that line in B tier is where you can make things happen. The Hamkara Spine Lockdown, the Raiju, the Atheris's Embrace, Frosties, Gemini, Bombardiers, and the 2 helmets. On the surface, they're very bland, but what they do is very, very good. D tier is just that step right above F. A lot of them are super switches, and none of them do what Raiju can do. D tier has its own issues, and obviously F tier is what I deem essentially you should stay away from. Some people might even put Nighthawk into D tier, but the difference is that it's a single shot. You could get flinched. All in all, I'm happy with my list. Let's talk about it down below. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. And again, a huge shout out to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. What do you think of my list? What would you switch around? Is it pretty close, or is it far off? Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.